Hello there. What's going on, everyone? Today, we're going to be talking about the newly announced Boba Fett prototype armor helmet from the Star Wars Black Series line. Now, this is the white version of Boba Fett's helmet. You may not be familiar with that, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. It was just announced during a live stream from Hasbro Pulse for their Fan First Friday. If you are new here to the channel, I do unboxings and reviews of a lot of this type of stuff right here. I actually did one of the Boba Fett helmet just recently. I'll put a link to that at the end of the video. Also, there is still time left to enter to win the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. All right, so we got a couple of images today from this Facebook live stream, as well as posted on the Hasbro Pulse website, where you can pre-order this. It is a $100 helmet, and that's not really a bad price for a high-end collectible, although I wonder how many people will really be into the white version of the helmet as opposed to the classic, considering that they're both in the same price range. So this was designed after the initial prototype version of Boba Fett, who was initially created to be a super stormtrooper in all white. Hasbro's already done an action figure version of him a long time ago. This was actually a Walgreens exclusive. I happen to have one in my Black Series collection, which I did a lot of 6-inch Black Series collections and kind of had to stop after a certain point because I got too many Star Wars miniatures for games like Legion, Armada, and X-Wing, and I began to run out of room for Star Wars Black Series, so I kind of had to stop the collecting. But there were a lot of these in Walgreens for a while, and then they disappeared. But basically, this was the original prototype version of Boba Fett, and then he eventually came back into Empire Strikes Back with the armor that you know and love. But this has been kind of one of those things, like a lot of casual fans had never heard of this before, so this is kind of cool that this is coming out, and in many ways it looks to be very much the same as the regular Boba Fett helmet, with two key differences. First off, the color is going to be totally different, right? It's going to be all white, pretty much. You do have a little bit of green and red on those little triangles on the forehead, as well as a few paint apps on some of the metallic pieces, as well as the black visor. But the biggest difference, outside of the color, is that you're going to not have the dent that we do have in the Boba Fett helmet. As you can see right here, again, if you want to see more of this thing, including the ability to actually try it on, check out my Boba Fett helmet review, which I will put as one of the highlighted videos at the end of this, and maybe a little card. But yes, so it's very, very cool experience. I like when I do my helmet unboxings, I like to actually have you try them on so you can kind of get a feel of what it might be like to look through the visor and wear it. And basically stick the camera inside the helmet to facilitate that. So that's something that I've been doing more and more with my collectible unboxings. I want to kind of give you the chance to kind of simulate the idea of wearing something like that. But we got a lot of images of it. It looks pretty good. I think with The Mandalorian being so popular, we're going to see a lot more Mandalorian-focused items. And if the early Walgreens limited release availability is any indication, this may not be available for too long. So if you're a big Mandalorian fan, this may be a great opportunity to pick one of these up. Another thing that's actually pretty cool about something like this is if you were thinking of repainting one of these, maybe you got an airbrush or a couple cans of spray paint and some painter's tape, and you got to mark off some areas and do a repaint. You probably have a lot easier time doing something like this without the dent, because you might want to have more of a fresh Mandalorian look or not, maybe not look like you're copying something else. Also, that white base is going to take paint a whole lot easier if you, for some reason, didn't want to, prime over an existing one. So there is that as well. So that's interesting. Now you can pre-order this on Hasbro Pulses, and as well as other fan online retailers, which is kind of interesting that they mentioned that. In this particular image that we have up here, it looks like we are getting some of the, there's some texturing, right? If we look like right over here, it looks like there's some texturing to this that didn't appear in some of these other pictures, at least not as clearly. I mean, it's kind of hard to see white on white, but it looks like there's a little bit of shadow for some of this texturing. Now, they had to be pretty far along in the production with this already. Considering that they already made one Boba Fett helmet, it probably wasn't too hard for them to make a whole nother print run and just different, I would say mostly with just different paint apps. There is more, it's a slightly different dome. So, you don't have the dent there, so slightly different. But these are actually supposed to be shipping in August, early August. Now, this is part of their May the 4th kind of fan bonanza stuff. I don't know why they didn't do this on May the 4th, probably because this is a live stream of stuff that they're only going to be doing on Fridays, and May the 4th is on a Monday, and my guess is that's why. This will have the articulating rangefinder, so much like on the Boba Fett version, that is going to come down, and we'll probably... I'm curious if the lights will be the exact same color. Another thing that works on this is this comes off, and you can actually see through that, kind of, although... it's a little harder to really see this because when you're wearing it, this is kind of off to the side. So you may not really be able to see it that well, but that goes up and down. And that's about it for the electronics for this version. I would imagine this one to be mostly the same in the way that most of the Black Series collectibles are at least similar. At least for kind of identical items. Like lightsabers, for the most part, tend to function the same, although there are some higher-end lightsabers that function differently. But helmets, at least different types of helmets, do function a little differently. Like the Darth Vader helmet, for example, is going to be functions differently than this because it has a vocal effect and also magnetization and stuff like that. So different types of helmets do sometimes work differently. They announced a couple of other products as well. They announced a Dagobah Luke because this is Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary year, so there's a lot of Empire Strikes Back focus on this year, not just for this from Hasbro, but for a lot of stuff. So that's going to be a big thing here. And this is not just featuring another version of kind of like the Dagobah Luke, or at least the that Luke in that Bespin kind of outfit, but also it's a new version of Yoda. It's going to come with multiple heads. This is going to be in a 2-pack, a bigger box. You see he's got his eyes closed in that one, so that's kind of cool. If you guys are collecting the 6-inch series, Black Series, or if you're collecting the 3 3/4 inch, they're also doing a Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper for the 3 3/4 inch. And, I'm not really into that line anymore because I used to have the figures that were in that scale when I was younger, but I'm not really big into that. And then, I want to touch on something else. They announced a bunch of other things. They're really kind of milking the monopolies, right? I'm setting this helmet down because it makes me wonder if, since they've done Boba Fett and then they've done prototype Boba Fett, are we gonna see like another version of the Yoda mask? I don't know. Although I'll tell you what, the Yoda mask does look partially transparent due to green screen stuff. Isn't that weird? It's Ghost Yoda mask. This is the Ghost Yoda mask, guys. It's the Ghost. That's really funny. If you run Yoda on a green screen, it's crazy. All right, so don't run Yoda with a green screen. But yeah, so I just thought that was funny. But anyway, without getting too far off topic, that's basically it. If you got $100 to throw away on a pre-order, then you can check it out. If not, you can stay subscribed to this channel because when this comes out, I will be reviewing it, unboxing it, taking a look at it for you guys. I'm going to compare it because there's an important thing about these helmets is that they are not always the best for people with big heads like myself. In my Boba Fett helmet unboxing, I had a hard time getting it on. I had to take my glasses off. Had to do that because it physically could not fit on my head with glasses also. And since it doesn't have a front frame, I can't then put my glasses on. Like the Iron Man or War Machine type helmets, they have that front faceplate that can slide up, so I can put my glasses on there and then lock the faceplate in, right? Of course, that's Marvel, so we're getting off a little bit. But with something like this, it's really hard for a glasses wearer. So some people will ask me what size head or what size hat I wear. I'm a 7 5/8, which is a kind of a larger head. So that's. I don't know too many people with bigger heads than that, but I'm a little bit on the larger side. Now, that being said, I still can manage to get this on. I have to tilt it forward a little bit and get it down. I figure this one's probably going to be the same sculpt and therefore the same size. I'm curious to see if the inside is going to be different. But if you have a smaller head, in the video that they released this, they had the main guy who was doing the announcement for this, his wife wore the helmet, and generally women tend to have smaller heads than men. or just smaller frames in general. So if you have a smaller head, or if you are young, maybe if you're like a teenager or somebody without kind of a, not fully, I imagine kids could wear these really, really easily. So anybody with a smaller head should have no problem, because one of the things about the interiors of these helmets is they have a strap. So while it's, at its largest, I can barely get it on. If you're much smaller, even if you have a very small head, you can always tighten the strap and make it fit. So my only real complaint about these is that they tend to be, designed for most people, and my head is a little bit larger than most people. So maybe for me, maybe it's not all about repainting something like this. Maybe it's about getting a custom one done that fits my giant, large noggin. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for today. I want to thank you all so much for your continued support. If you are interested in supporting the channel, there's plenty of links down in the description below for things like Patreon or merch, or other social media links if you want to follow me on Twitter or Facebook. I want to thank you all so much. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are amazing, and I can't thank you enough. And as always, have a great day.